Undskyld. Har jeg noget magi? Oh my god.
Welcome, guys, to episode 3. Is it episode 3? Episode 3?
Episode 3?
Yeah, episode 3 of Templar Talks. Professional intro, as always.
Absolutely.
Episode
We are always
69.
prepared.
Are you sure you don't want to be put, like, on the shelf somewhere, Marcus? Like...
Oh man, honestly, if you actually could put me on a shelf, I would love that.
Okay, we'll put you... We'll just take the time to do that
Just
now.
pop him right up here.
Which one's being... Like, this one has a bit of glare on it, so we'll just pop you up here.
I'll pop it up there. Alright. That's perfect.
You've heard of elf on a shelf, now you see man on the stand.
Yeah, as always, unprofessional as ever. We have no idea what we're doing. But yeah, it's just me and Alex today. No guests, and obviously Papa Bless up here. Mini Marcus, who will be keeping an eye on the chat today. Gonna break a little bit of tradition here, because usually obviously we try and ignore chat, just for VOD purposes, but I do want to talk a little bit about our announcement today. Very briefly, we don't want to reveal all the details. The long and short of it is on June the 4th, is it June the 4th?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
The Saturday of pre-release weekend for Commander Legends 2, we will be hosting an event here at Athena Games. We will be co-hosting it. We'll be live streaming the whole thing. Tickets will be available very soon. If anyone is in the UK or would like to visit the UK, it's going to be a great Commander experience in general. Unlike a normal pre-release, there's going to be a lot of Commanders Templar shenanigan, giveaway madness. I think we're still working on everything we're giving away, but it's literally going to be like 400-500 quid ish of stuff.
There's a pile of stuff to give away.
There's a lot of stuff that you can win, and it's not going to be any more than just coming for the pre-release. Like, you know, you don't have to sub, you don't have to pay a raffle ticket. It's just, if you're at the event, there's stuff to win. And we are not going to forget the viewers as well at home. There will also be a few giveaways for people watching on Twitch as well. So yeah.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, I know. Yeah, it's really annoying, Marcus. It's pretty much the only weekend that you can't make in June, isn't it? So
Yeah,
it's fallen on an unfortunate date, but it is what it is. But yeah, we hope to see a few of you there. I appreciate if it's, you know, too far to travel, but equally, if you're around, it'll be awesome. We'll have like a formal announcement video with all the details soon, and then we'll be dripping kind of all the information about prizing over the next few weeks. If you are a local of Athena Games, though, starting on Monday, the first giveaway associated with it is every Commander night, which, to be fair, Athena Games provide a promo pack every Commander night just for showing up. Completely free entry.
We do a random one.
Yep, anyone can win it, not based on well, Commander Night isn't really based on performance here. You just kind of show up and play.
It's all just good casual fun.
Yeah, no hardcore kind of players. Well, I mean, you can get pods for that if you want to,
definitely.
but
Hi.
yeah, no, we're going to be giving away an extra promo pack every single week in the lead up to the event. So there's double the chance to win, and to be fair, we might even give away some other stuff. And you know what? I'm actually going to say, I'm going to mention this every so often, because I appreciate some people tune in and out. I carefully get my wallet out and don't show any information about my bank cards. I'll actually say, the first person, this is a risk, right, because it could be no one, but the first local to Athena Games that shows up today and is coming to Commander on Monday can have a £5 gift card. So, just, there you go. If anyone is in the chat, I'll keep mentioning it so often. Marcus, if you wouldn't mind just dropping it in the chat every so often. £5 gift card, no obligation. As long as you are here on Monday, I will give it to you. And you can go buy a Subway stuff for New Capenna.
You certainly can.
Or you could add some more money towards it and ball and buy a Commander, a Collector's
How much
Booster.
how much does a coffee cost at Athena?
A coffee? Yeah, £2.50. You could buy 2 coffees, I think. For
I mean, exactly. Like, that's a fucking good price.
Yeah, well, a cup of coffee and a tea, you know.
Yeah.
Ooh,
5 packs of
haha,
Jaffa
no
cakes, I
caffeine.
think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pile of Jaffa cakes.
Pile of Jaffa cakes. The possibilities are endless. But just to finish off our talk about giveaways today, The giveaway for this month's episode of Templar Talks, I'll bring it in so it comes in focus, is a shiny copy of Arid Mesa. It's not shiny, actually. It's like completely dull.
If
but
you keep it in the top loader, it's shiny.
yeah, there you go. See, it's foil, except it isn't. But it is near mint. Pack fresh, straight into a sleeve and top loader. Open on our Discord now to enter, completely free, worldwide entry, and it will be posted to wherever you are. And the good news, or bad news, depending on who you are, is the last giveaway was not claimed. So we have an extra copy of Commander Collection Black to give away, but that will be given away on the Commander Legends 2 pre-release weekend. So make sure to tune in for that. But anyway, on to actual Templar Talks.
No, before that, I feel like we should, of course, as per usual, thank the current subscribers. Billy Beefcake for 13 months and God Prince Jester for 21 months. Thank you so much for the support.
Yes, guys, it is always appreciated. All the subs really help. And as part of this Commander Legends 2 pre-release, as well as all the giveaway stuff, we are going to be making some upgrades to our stream setup. So this slightly blurry cam where Marcus is like hyper clear and we're just like a little bit blurry should hopefully go away in the next couple of weeks.
I deserve to be the clear one, we know that.
Yes, yeah. And as well as that, actually, we're not going to announce it until, I think it's going to go live on the Discord tomorrow, the full schedule for streams up till July, I think, was it up till July?
Yeah.
Put together, but basically we're going to be trying to do more Commander games from Athena, like one every month, so hopefully that'll get going and we'll actually play Commander on this game, on this channel, rather than just talk about Magic. But talking about Magic, Templar Talks. Today we're discussing Rule Zero. I didn't actually even think about explaining what Rule Zero is. I was just like, everyone knows what Rule Zero is. But then before the show, we were talking about it with Marcus, and Marcus was like, "What's Rule Zero?"
What's Rule Zero?
So I mean, you know, our local I'm the guy who never understands anything about Magic, so naturally.
You're the Magic. I'm actually going to make you bigger for this episode because I feel like Rule Zero is a good topic that I think we can all kind of talk about.
To be fair to Marcus, Rule Zero has nothing to do with Shirai, so there's no reason that he'd know about it.
Exactly, and
exactly. Like, what is it Shirai? No, then I don't care.
Marcus doesn't even care about Rule Zero because he's playing Shirai anyway.
Yeah,
it's like anyone
completely irrelevant.
Yeah, completely irrelevant. Like all the players are like, yeah, we've all got precons. Marcus is just ignoring them, shuffling up his deck already. Like,
it's fine. My commander's an uncommon, so it'll be fine.
Yeah. It was actually so hilarious. I don't know how many people managed to tune in for it. I know you were like on the way home, like walking when you'd finished work when we streamed here, when Marcus was actually in Norwich. Literally, he didn't know what was happening. Like in terms of like, it would like someone would say something and like board wipe or whatever. And Marcus is like, "What's doing that?" And it's like, "Oh, it's the thing that was played like 4 turns ago that's gone off now," and you've just like hyper focused on your own playmat and like ignored everyone else. So yeah, I don't think Rule Zero applies to you, Marcus. You are the king of just doing your thing and playing solitaire.
So what'd you say? Shirai? Yeah,
Shirai. Yeah.
Now, one day we should do a skit, right? When maybe for what's the huge Axion event at the end of the year, October-ish time. If we can get you over for that, Marcus, we should do a skit where you go up to Commander Pods, ask to get a game, and then just get a deck of cards out and just start laying out solitaire.
Yeah. So, well, no, wait, it's not your turn yet. But sorry, man, I need to play Shirai now. Like, could you just wait with this? Like,
or equally, you play solitaire while playing Shirai. Like you have, like you use double the play space and you have a solitaire game going on underneath. But obviously physical solitaire. It can't be on the phone. Like you have to have a double.
We'll get you a deck of cards that's just 52 copies of Shirai with the name of the card just put on it in Sharpie.
Yeah, that works. You right, Marcus?
I want Exodia Shirai to be
Exodia Shirai.
Exodia.
Where you need 5 Shirais to make Shirai Supreme. I have to admit, like,
instead of resting things with 2 power, it rests things 1 power. It rests things with 2 power.
Busted
AF. I have to admit, like, to go off topic already, as you've mentioned Exodia, have you seen it was announced last year, and I didn't pre-order it because it was Japan only, and I was like, I can't be bothered to pay shipping. They released a 25th anniversary Kaiba briefcase with his whole deck in like ultra rare foil and the 3 blue eyes in foil. And I've seen some of the unboxings on it. It was like $150, $200, so it was expensive.
Yeah.
But it is like the highest quality merch I've ever seen. It would be so good if like Secret Lair Ultimate Edition, if it had been like in that premium, the box for that sucks. Like it just like falls shut, and you know, with this the hinges are like perfect, the locks are perfect. It looks unbelievable.
Wow, no, I've not seen that.
I haven't heard about this, but now that you've mentioned it, I really want it. And so does Billy, apparently.
You know the anime though, right, Marcus? Like
Yeah. Right.
It's literally like the first episode, that briefcase he has with the 3 blue eyes in. It is a
believe in the heart of the cards.
Yeah, honestly, it's like the blue eyes are in like glass acrylic as well. Like it honestly looks ridiculously good. Yeah, I don't know. I would say, Marcus, you should get it up on screen for us, but we're not sophisticated enough to. Although we say Marcus is running the stream, really, we're just making him like type in chat and forcing him to post things. None of it's automated. Yeah, we're not very high tech here.
No.
But yeah, on to actual Rule Zero.
Rule Zero.
So, Alex, what is Rule Zero?
So Rule Zero is, I guess, sort of like a social contract almost. So before a game of Commander, you would sit down with your pod, sort of discuss what decks you've brought, what decks you, what kind of power level you want to play out. Obviously, power level's a different conversation, but like stuff like typically gets brought up in Rule Zero is like OTKs, so 1-turn kills, so stuff that can like kill the whole table straight away. Infinite combos. Sometimes you set there's like extra turn effects people don't want to play against, that kind of thing. I know I've done this a bunch of times. There's a bunch of decks that I've sat down that I just don't want to play against. One example is what's it, the Scarecrow Legend, the 5-color Scarecrow? Reaper King.
Reaper King.
Reaper
that is
King,
a miserable deck.
Reaper King Changelings. I just like, if someone sits down and is like, oh, I've got Reaper King Changelings, like, okay, cool. Pick something else or I'm going to go away. That's a perfect example of like what Rule Zero is for. Because it's like, I don't want to have a miserable time. I want to enjoy myself. I don't want to play against that. Let's do something else.
See, the thing... Actually, Marcus, you weigh in first because you had a couple of points about Rule Zero.
Well, yeah, like it's a for me at least. The long story short is that it's a rule that works great on paper. You know, as you can talk to your friends and figure out like which power level usually you should be playing around, right? But it's so incredibly subjective what you believe is strong, what you believe is annoying, what you believe is frustrating, that it becomes kind of impossible to balance.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's so like obviously you mentioned like we're not talking power level. I think power level is the reason it's a problem because people can, so obviously like extra turn effects, steal your stuff, mill, 1-turn kills. They're very obvious things to lay out and very obvious things to say, okay, I don't have that. But say someone's like, oh, okay, I don't OTK, and then, you know, plays a load of ridiculous mana rocks on turn 1 and gets like a, I don't know, Rhystic Study out on turn 1, or Smothering Tithe out on turn 1. Or land, like any miserable effect, like back to basics.
It's not going to OTK you, but you're going to have a really miserable
time. And I think that's where I'm an anomaly in that I actually like OTKs, and I'll always say this in like Rule Zero conversation, because I would much rather that the game finishes quickly, that everyone's dead, rather than dragging out a painful kind of death by 1,000 cuts. Kind of,
but similarly, that kind of stuff can be brought up in Rule Zero, like tax effects, all that stuff. Like land destruction, like back to basics, and sort of blood moon effects, like sort of classes.
But I guess a lot of the issue is that players that are new to the game don't even know these cards exist. So you could, you know, you kind of have to go through misery to understand it. You know, it's like when I first started playing, there was a player on our pod that used to fill their decks with board wipes, and they played Allure. So they literally played no creatures, and it was just board wipe counter, and it's nothing there that I would really red flag about in Rule Zero, because I didn't know that that's a miserable experience until I experienced it.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think that's the wider problem for me with Rule Zero, is basically like it depends on how much the players actually know about Magic the Gathering, as opposed to, you know, being a really good tool. Because realistically as well, it's a great tool, but it depends on how well you can communicate before a game.
Yeah, definitely.
In my experience, a lot of the time you sit down with a new group of players, the conversation is going to be fairly dry, right? Like, it's going to be hard to get a conversation going, and I think getting people's game plan and actual, you know, what their deck does. To be honest, I don't think a lot of people don't know what their decks do. I've built decks where...
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, Yarok's a perfect example. I built that deck, and that goes off way more than I ever thought it would, which is why now I've played the game more, I've toned it to a level that you're happy with, but I don't know, it's a hard one.
That's a fantastic point, Steve.
Noise there.
Yeah, it's a really good point, because, you know, I always play Shirai, and everyone keeps on saying that, like, apparently this is a 7 or 8 power level deck, but I keep on losing, so I don't know what's going on.
I honestly, and I know we've said this before, and I don't want to, like, turn it into bash the newer player.
Yeah.
But it is honestly just because you don't play Magic that much. I genuinely think your deck is incredibly good.
From what I've seen, there's stuff like, with your Shirai deck put in the hands of a player that plays Magic 2 to 3 hours a day, for example, rather than yourself, you play Magic
when we force you to.
A couple of hours every month or whatever. But like, it's stuff like, once you learn like the play patterns and stuff, which is why sort of decks sort of vary in power level depending on who's playing them. Your deck does perform really well, assuming you know all the lines and all that stuff, and you've like rehearsed it, because presumably you get better at it throughout the night or throughout your session or whatever, as you sort of learn play patterns and that kind of thing, or relearn them.
It's like, I would guarantee that, well, I wouldn't guarantee, because there's an element of what you draw, but if you gave a new player a CDH deck, they probably wouldn't win, even if they were playing against, like, maybe not precons, but like just standard 6 out of 10 semi-focused decks, just because it's such weird, like, obviously CDH, it's become a stereotype now, but the big win is Foracle. Fastest Oracle and Demonic Consultation, or Tainted Pact, is it the other one?
Yeah, unless you know that that's what you're doing.
Yeah, you'd see Fastest Oracle and just be like, oh cool, I can draw some cards here.
I can look at some more cards.
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Which is, there's definitely part of it. Like, there's a whole, like, knowing your deck, building your own deck, knowing the lines, that kind of thing. That's definitely part of the problem, almost, which is... Yeah.
So I think my issue with, like, it's not an issue with Rule Zero. Rule Zero is great. Like, the fact that people, and I don't really want to talk about the show that much, because the guy that makes it is actually a dick at this point. Like, I don't know if anyone's seen the controversy with it, but it is really bad. But Hate Your Deck, the way they brought Rule Zero into the mainstream, is actually really good. So, like, as much as the guy is an ass and a horrible person, that aspect of Hate Your Deck is great, because people now actively talk about, like, Rule Zero, and that's one thing. You know, Game Nights is like the biggest Commander show. They never talked about Rule Zero. Their decks were just, like, usually built for them, and, like, they explained what they did, but there was never the discussion of, like, what are we trying to do here. So I think it's great that it's become a topic of conversation, but I think unless you actually know the people, like, you're really good friends with the group of people you're playing, I don't think it does enough. Yeah,
that's fair. I guess there's also the kind of thing where, in certain situations, depending on who you're playing with, the Rule Zero might not matter at all. Like, for me personally, when I'm playing, like, with like Rocco and Will and Simon, for example, we know what we're going to do. We know that we're playing relatively high power level. We know we're going to try and punch each other really hard in the face as quick as we can, kind of thing. Similar with you guys. Like, when you sit down, I guess you do kind of have the Rule Zero thing every week, where there's yourself and Tom and those kind of people are just like, do we want to play a CDH game? That's Rule Zero right there. Because you kind of skip all the stuff, because if you're sitting down for a CDH game or a high power level game, you're basically agreeing to a whole list of stuff.
Yeah.
That Rule Zero would normally check out. You're like extra turns are probably fine, combos are probably fine because it's all CDH. So you've got like the mental checklist to tick off.
But as far as I understand, Rule Zero is also just to establish establish a understanding between each other about like what your decks do, right? So it doesn't really matter if you know each other already and you already know the decks. You don't need to establish anything in that case.
That's my issue with that, and I think as well, although CDH that conversation about CDH works now, I think with some players I've played with throughout, different play groups. I know I play with a lot of random people I don't necessarily know here, like sometimes when we mix things up, but my typical group of people I would play with is there's a lot of conversation about how you adapt their play style. So like, because you're, as I mentioned before, like being really good friends with people, you're comfortable kind of picking through their deck and being like, this might be miserable, this might not be, and you can explain it in more, like, effectively when it's your friend, right, you're not scared to just be like, you're being a dick, because like you're friends and it's not going to be taken in the wrong way.
Yeah, definitely.
So you can kind of, this effect is fucking miserable, please stop playing it.
Yeah.
Someone's not going to take that the wrong way. Whereas if you say that to a stranger, that's where the whole Rule Zero kind of... I think my issue with Magic in general when you're pugging with strangers is it seems to me that a lot of people build decks that are a lot more miserable than they think they are and play them without really any warning, and they don't think there's a problem with it.
Yeah, I can see that.
I don't know how to solve that. Like, I don't see a solution of how you solve that unless people just communicate better, which is how do you get people to communicate?
That's what it boils down to, isn't it? It's basic, like, how do we get people to talk to each other and discuss what they're okay with?
Yeah,
because that's basically all that needs to happen. Like, sure, you can rock up and you could be playing a subpar commander, but if you've filled that full of degenerate nonsense, like I'm building an Asperia deck because I think it's funny. I saw one in a trade group and it was a foil one and it was cheap, so I was like, yeah, sure, I'll buy a foil Asperia deck.
Yeah.
But I thought it would be like funny to have an Asperia deck that's like with all the normal staples, because Asperia costs 6. I need to get her out somehow, 7 or whatever she costs. So like, it would be really good to have fast mana in there.
Yeah.
But there's the degeneracy that comes with fast mana. Just like with fast mana, I guess I would be able to play Heuristic Study quicker.
That
kind of thing, which would lead to worse board states.
I think that's the thing. There's almost if you've played Magic long enough, you can put cards in your deck and choose not to use them. As an example, for like my Yarok deck, I have Sire of Stagnation in there. That makes people mill stuff and gets me ahead with draw. I'll play it if I'm very behind, or I'll play it if I'm so ahead that I think the game just is like within winning distance within a turn, as not to like make people miserable. When I first built the deck, I'd play that on curve and just
for sure.
Not think about it. And equally, if it's a higher powered game, I would as well. But I think the problem is people put these cards in their deck and they use them consistently. So like, I think big things for me are Smothering Tithe, Heuristic Study, Cyclonic Rift, stuff that actively puts everyone else so much further behind than you.
I can say so much about Cyclonic Rift. I hate that card so much.
Yeah, but at the same time, I think it's a great card. I would include it in, what I mean? Like, I would include, my Yarok deck is like, I'm trying to foil it out fully. So if I had a foil Cyclonic Rift, I'd probably put it in there only because it's the kind of card that will stop a win. And like, in terms of like, worst case scenario, this player is literally about to win, their combo is fully assembled, I'll play a Cyclonic Rift at that point, either overloaded or to target the piece that is the problem. But I wouldn't ever, I'm ahead and people are trying to catch up, Cyclonic Rift.
Yeah, no, but people, but you see that a lot.
Yeah.
Where like you kind of like everyone's like developed sort of equal board states or whatever. Like you've got like someone's got mana rocks, or they're relying on mana rocks to help them patch their mana up until they can get more lands, and someone's got some planeswalkers taken up or whatever, and one guy's just like, I need to get through with some creatures, I'm gonna Cyclonic Rift everyone's shit.
Yeah.
And then everyone but that player has to spend the next 3 turns rebuilding, and this player gets to run away with the game almost.
It's like my whole thing with is it Lord Xander, the new commander?
Yeah, Lord Xander I can imagine being an issue.
I don't mind it if it has parity, that everyone has like your opponents have the effect, because I think the thing for me is like I think it's a dick card to put in a deck if you're playing casual, but stuff like Collector Oof, is that opponents or that's everyone?
No, Collector Oof is opponents.
Is it opponents?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So cards that turn off your stuff as well, or are a generic effect, I think are a lot better than those specific like race ahead cards. So like Xander, it's the fact that one player is gonna come away from that game miserable, because really the strategy to play Lord Xander correctly is who's the strongest player, target you for every mode, and then I target the next player for every mode.
So
and
for,
then the next
for clarification, the modes on Lord Xander's a legend from the new set. It came out yesterday, so that probably needs some clarification.
yeah, that's right. Yeah,
So,
sorry, I forget that I read spoilers.
Xander's got 3 abilities. So he's got Enter the Battlefield ability, which is target opponent discards half their cards. Attack trigger, which is someone mills half the deck, and when he dies, someone sacrifices half of their non-land permanents. Yeah. So you're gonna be screwing someone over, irrelevant of the way you do it. Because basically, what it says is when he enters the battlefield.
Which one's the ETB?
The ETB is discard, I think.
Discard. Yeah. So that's just
I'll double check because I also haven't read this card enough. But what it basically means is like ETB, the person with the most cards discards half their cards, almost all the time, because it does round down. Like you can't discard someone's last card.
Yeah.
The person with the most cards discards half their cards. The traumatize when it attacks is less of an issue, I think, in Commander. Like if you're building a Commander deck that doesn't have some kind of graveyard recursion, I feel like you've probably built the Commander deck wrong.
Yeah, but half is a lot.
Half is a lot.
And I think the thing for me is, especially like when I first started playing Commander and we were all new, there was so much game-to-game recurrence.
Actually got all those abilities right. I'm so proud of myself.
Excellent. But it's the fact that like for so long, probably like the first year I played Commander, and depending on the players you play with, that is a big thing. People remember the last game, and like they let that affect them. So if you've Lord Xandered someone, then you come to Commander the next week, play against them, they're probably just going to be like, cool, I'm going to play Zergo and just smack you in the face every single time.
Someone in chat has brought up Tergrid as well as a something
similar.
Tergrid,
Tergrid's miserable.
I've never played against a Tergrid Commander deck, and I never will.
Yeah, but I don't. The thing is, like, I was, again, I know I'm in the minority, but I was against the Hull Breacher ban because of Rule 0. Because I think Hull Breacher is fine in those type of games. Because, like, the effect of it is very similar to, like, it's like Dockside. I don't know how Dockside hasn't been banned for the same, and Op Agent for the same reason that Hull Breacher got banned, because they're miserable in casual games. All of them are. And
they're less obviously miserable. So casual games, like Op Agent I can see, but Dockside Extortionist is less miserable in casual games just because it's not obviously miserable. Like, especially if you're like playing a game of Commander, you got a treasure token, you got a dice, and it's like, I'll make 15 treasures, and you put a little 15, and you put it on your treasure token, and that's it. And like, visually looking around, you'd be like, oh, it's just.
I think that's the other extremity with newer players. I don't think it's like necessarily initially visible how much
of an advantage someone's got from the Dockside.
How much of an issue that is. And it's like, I'll never forget, I played a game not that long ago where it was a 5-man game. I think 3 of the players were playing precons, one of the players was brand new, and one of the players was playing like an altered precon that had, or like a lower powered deck, but it had Smothering Dive in. This is why I keep talking about Smothering Dive, because it's burnt into my memory of how bad this game was. And it was turn 2 or turn 1 Smothering Dive with a 5-player rotation.
Oh, jeez.
And it was just fucking pointless because the game went on for like 3 to 4 hours because there wasn't a clear win con. But Smothering Dive just meant every turn empty my hand or do whatever the hell I want because I have unlimited mana, basically.
Unlimited mana,
and I think effects like that are what Rule 0 doesn't help. And I genuinely just wish that people were way more honest before games. And I don't think it's intentional. I don't think people intentionally deceive people. But I just think in general people need to as much as I'm a CDH advocate, Commander is about eating pizza, chilling, and just chatting shit while you play games.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not about making each other miserable.
No. And, like, maybe a way to fix that is through like the Canadian Highlander approach. Like, you've got a list of cards, give them all point values, you can build your deck to X number of points. Or even you just like give point values to a whole bunch of cards, like Smothering Tide's worth X points, Ristic Study's worth X points, Cyclonograp's worth X points, and you just say that at the start of the game. It's like, oh, my commander deck is 52 points.
Yeah, and one great way you can actually use that kind of points mantra, EDH Rec, I believe, still has salt rankings. So
Salt rankings.
when you're making your deck, maybe have a look at the salt chart, and if the cards you're putting in it are at the bottom, like, let's have a look at the salt chart on EDH Rec.
I haven't seen that before, but that looks incredible.
The problem with it is it's community voted.
Community voted, yeah, but everything is going to be community voted. Like, even bloody Commander is essentially a community supported, a community run format, essentially, isn't it?
So this is the last result is from 2021.
Okay.
Let's do a game here. Sorry to exclude you, Marcus. Chat, if you would like to play along. I'm only saying I'm excluding Marcus because I know he doesn't know Magic that well.
Yeah.
Alex, can you guess?
Shirai.
Yeah, Shirai is not on the salt list, believe it or not. I don't know if any of the cards you have are, but anyway, top 5. What do you think the
Top
first
5,
one is?
Top 5 salt cards.
Yeah.
Armageddon.
Not actually on there.
Armageddon.
That's 6th.
Can I actually come with one, because I think I've actually gone through this once before.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I believe that one of them is Stasis.
Yeah, that's number 1.
Stasis.
And actually, to be fair,
Yeah.
Marcus, you've actually got an advantage here when I think about it, because a lot of them are in our music video.
Oh my god, hang on.
for that,
Oh, are they really? Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
So all the lyrics
what if I
you
just
memorise.
go for Winter Orb, Stasis, Static Orb?
So just with that, you've got the top 3.
Winter Orb, Stasis, and what was the other one?
So Stasis, Winter Orb, Static Orb.
Static
They're
Orb.
the
Okay,
top
sure.
3.
That makes sense, actually, because it's all of the you don't get to use your stuff artifacts, isn't it?
The 4th one is fairly obvious as well, actually, when you think about that effect. It's not on an artifact, it's a creature.
On a creature?
And it can be your commander. I don't think I've ever seen it played, personally.
I don't think I can think of that we salt worthy is something like Leovold or something.
Banned. But Vorinclex.
Oh, the first Vorinclex.
Yeah, Voice of Hunger. Whenever you tap
the first
a land
Vorinclex can get in the sun.
Yeah,
I hate that card.
So it doubles your mana, and then when an opponent taps a land for mana, it doesn't untap during the next untap.
It halves your opponent's mana, but not really. It's kind of the way that they wanted to design all the Praetors.
Yeah.
So that it has an effect for you, and it has that effect mirrored sort of as a negative effect for your opponent. But they missed the mark with a lot of the first Praetors. Like, Vorinclex was way too good, and Urabrask was just terrible.
Yeah. And I'm going to look at chat and, go against our rule. Jester, you've got it. Expropriate rounds it out. Number 5.
Expropriate? I don't think I've ever played against Expropriate.
Starting with you, each player votes for time or money. For each time vote, take an extra turn after this one. For each money vote, choose a permanent owned by the voter and gain control of it.
Oh, wow. So it's literally turns and stuff.
2 blue,
turns
7.
and take your stuff. Yeah, that's mad. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me at all.
Yeah, the rest is like Armageddon, Jockleherps, Ravages of War. I don't know that one, but
Ravages of War is Armageddon.
All end. Yeah. Obliterate.
Yeah.
Marcus, you should know these.
Winter Orb, Stasis, Static Orb, Obliterate, something, and the Bassa Jackal-Herbs.
Yeah,
Jinga, Texas, Koragor, Grand Up, Augustine 4, Armageddon, Tabernacle, Devastation, and then I say goodbye.
Is Tabernacle banned in Commander? No, it's not.
No, it's just like $2,000 or something.
Yeah, so no one plays. Yeah, I was about to say, like, I've never seen it played, and then I'm like, oh, that's probably why. There's a lot of them. It's pretty much lands. Decree of Annihilation's up there. I think that's a hilarious card because it's just so stupid.
Decree of Annihilation kills all lands when it's cycled, isn't it? Or something stupid.
So it destroys lands when it's cycled, but to play it, 8 and then 2 red. Remove all artifacts, creatures, lands, graveyards, and hands from the game. So it just exiles everything.
Just exile everything.
Starts the game
Let's just start the game again. This is actually on a similar vein. I cannot believe they unbanned Wildfire.
Like, what does Wildfire do?
Wildfire is exile everything. Everyone's at 1.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I don't understand why they did that. It makes no sense to me.
I don't know. I think as well though, decks like that, I feel if you built the deck right, it could be funny. In terms of like if you looped like what's that card? Is it Game of Chaos where you flip a coin and whoever loses takes one life, but then you can choose to keep you know what I mean? Like there's dumb things you could do.
This is actually another thing that gets brought up a lot in Rule Zero conversations is chaos cards.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people that I know just won't sit down in a game of Commander that's got chaos as a theme. Just like enchantments that like every time you choose a target, it's chosen randomly instead, or you draw from shared fates, you draw from other people's decks. People just don't like doing that.
Yeah, I've found for me, again, it is all about that Rule Zero. Like it's about talking about it before the game, because of the whole pizza casual. I always say pizza. I don't think I've ever eaten pizza while playing Magic, but like it's the stereotype.
It's a lot of grease next to cards. Yeah, that stresses me out just thinking about it.
But like I like chaos, and I like one of the some of the funnest Commander sessions I've ever had. I don't know if we ever recorded the VOD. There might be clips somewhere on our Twitch. Marcus, you can have a look if you don't mind of when we did our Halloween stream. I think it was a Halloween stream because I dressed up as Tolarian the Prof. And I was just like throwing a deck box all the time and saying many Magic the Gathering players. But Luke played his Urza deck, silver bordered Urza. Where you have to go on a website.
Planeswalker Urza. Yeah.
So you go on a website to find its abilities.
Yeah, and all the abilities are different, just random different Planeswalker loyalty abilities.
And he had loads of unhinged S cards in there, and like we ended up, it was so funny on the stream. We had to change the setup because we had to put a camera from above to under the table because we got into the dungeon. Right. So we had to locate and start another game with our libraries under the table to see who drew a card. I don't know, but games like that are fun if you know it's that kind of a game.
Oh yeah,
for some reason in our VODs, unless like there's something going wrong here, there's like a big hole that's between 2 months ago and 1 year ago.
Oh, what? Sorry?
I don't know what's going on there. Like I'm trying to find our VODs right now.
It would be in clips, not VODs. Like someone would have had to clip it. Yeah. Our VODs, because we're a affiliate, not a partner. I think our VODs get deleted every like 2 months or something. Month. I don't know. Speaking of which, actually, if you guys could head to the link down below, the YouTube link, and subscribe. I think you need 50 subs to be able to change your URL or something like that. I don't know. But we really want to change our URL to Commanders Templar, so go sub on YouTube. There's nothing uploaded there other than these episodes, so
fair enough.
Probably not worth it, but
do it anyway.
Yeah, do it anyway.
Why not?
And also, if you haven't, we're going to be drawing it in approximately, what's the time?
What's the time, 10 to?
Yeah, probably at 8 o'clock, so 10 minutes time, we're going to be drawing, sorry, Marcus is in the way, the winner for the Arid Mesa worldwide entry. All the info is in our Discord, Marcus, if you would not mind linking it. Actually, it's been linked by Streamlabs, so it doesn't matter. You can enter
MVP.
at the Templar Talks giveaway section of our Discord. And in addition, if you are local to Athena Games, please just say in the chat and you can have a £5 gift card if you're coming to Commander on Monday. And I don't want to show that side because it's literally how you redeem it.
Yep, that's the QR code on the side.
But yeah, I don't know. I think that's the thing. Like, there's only so much you can talk. Like, it's a risky thing for us to have an episode about Rule Zero because really, I think everyone agrees Rule Zero is good. And there are very few bad things about it.
Yeah, you're not going to get anyone, like, there's no, like, normally at least one of us, like, tries to do, like, some devil's advocate stuff. Obviously, Stephen loves talking about the reserve list. But
it's always devil's advocate.
We can't, there's no really, like, devil's advocate position to be in because it's subjectively useful and good when it's used right.
Yeah. I think this is, I don't know how to phrase this, right? As society, we dictate that when we meet people we don't know, we don't just yell at them, right? Like, that's just a social, this is how we interact as humans. We aren't like this.
What?
Yeah.
Marcus is learning that one.
Yeah.
But I kind of
even that, like, that might just be a British thing.
Yeah,
because as a nation, we are sometimes polite to a fault.
Yes, but I feel that's where we need to get to with Magic, in terms of people need to understand, I'm sitting down with strangers, I can have my deck that's strong and has these cards or salty cards, but if I'm playing with strangers, I just don't play them. I can keep them in my deck.
Yeah.
Don't waste people's time like pulling out 5 cards. Just don't play them. If you draw them, just keep them in your hand for worst case scenario.
Yeah, you've drawn a blank. You're playing against new players. You'll probably be fine, even if you lose. It's Commander.
Yeah, who cares?
Yeah.
I think that's the thing, and just be like honest. Really, I think that's the big thing. And I don't know. It's hard to. In life, it's hard to see other people's opinions a lot of the time because naturally we usually think we're right if we think something, again, as humans, but sometimes you just have to understand if you've shown up with a deck that is consistently, maybe people don't say anything, but maybe they just like walk away briskly after the game or suddenly have to go after the game, those kind of things, maybe just have a look at your deck and think, or maybe your play. It's not even necessarily deck; it's play pattern as well. It's how you play.
Hi.
You know, keeping counter spells. Thank you very much for the subscription. Run It's a Bear. That's an amazing.
Fantastic name.
Yeah, Run It's a Bear.
Run It's a Bear.
In that instance, you would be wanting to shout at strangers. But yeah, no.
Run It's a Bear.
I think that's it. It's fine to have say Force of Will in your casual deck if you're going to use it to stop someone comboing.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
Don't use it to stop someone curving out or
don't Force of Will the rampant growth.
Yeah, someone's on low lands and they're bricking and you're just But
here's the question then: why are you guys always killing my Shirai? Then I'm not even doing anything to you guys.
This is the problem with the Shirai deck. Is you could have won. I promise you could have won so many fucking games.
Oh, absolutely.
If you just paid attention to what other people were doing. Because, you could, sometimes you literally see the board wipe coming and you just keep loading the board anyway, just being what's the worst that could happen? Sure, I was going to die in a turn, but I'll just...
It's the kind of thing, someone could, so the person directly to your left could play a Nev's disc, and you could read the Nev's disc, and then you could have your entire turn and just keep playing stuff.
Yeah.
And it would be completely fine.
But I want people to adapt to the way I play.
And they will, by blowing all your stuff up.
Fuck.
Nekasar wheel deck with a salt rating of 67. I don't know how high the salt ratings are of my decks. I don't think I have anything on EDH rec. I know on... What was that website that's not really used anymore? Is it Tapped Out?
Tapped Out, yeah.
Tapped Out. What's the one that replaced it? Moxfield? Moxfield is the bigger one.
I've not really looked at many of those, to be honest.
I've got a lot of my more powerful decks on Tapped Out, and I think they're the 5 out of 5 competitive rating, or you know what I mean. That's a good thing as well. Actually, you can put decks in there, and they'll just tell you if they're not that great. There's good meters to do it. It's I have a Lord Windgrace deck, which effectively wins the exact same way as a CEDH Windgrace deck. With Valakut lines, and it has Gitrog lines in it.
Yeah.
But it has no tutors, very bad ramp, and it also has other win cons, stupid landfall stuff.
Yeah,
so it's
sure.
you have that win con in the bag, but you'd rather win somewhere else unless the game's dragging and you can judge it. But again, if I'm judging it that way, maybe other people aren't happy with it. It's a very give and take kind of. You have to try and assess the table. And kind of act
side question. Run It's a Bear clearly has some deep-seated hatred for a card called Winota. What is that card?
Winota's a legend from Ikoria. She is probably she's the best Boros CDH commander, definitely.
Yeah, she's really good for stacks.
Yeah.
Just the stacks Winota is amazing. Ikoria brought some really good mechanics to Magic.
Everyone loves Dranith Magistrate.
Fuck me. That card is... I don't know how that card has not been banned when Hull Breacher is banned. Because it is miserable.
Yeah.
And I know it's the argument of, you should have removal in your deck.
You should be able to kill a 1/3, Stephen.
Yeah, but it's just how many people are running Bolt in their deck or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. It's such a miserable card. unbelievable. And again, like with Xander, if it had parity and affected you, I would be a lot more fine with it.
So, Draenus Magistrate says that no one can cast any spells unless they're cast from hand, which obviously shuts down casting your commander, which is the big one, because like this is why I explain it, because Marcus, like some other people might not know.
This is where like we actually encounter it. Someone plays Draenith and Marcus just goes to his turn and I cast Shirai. Marcus, you can't. Why not?
Why not?
What's affecting it? Nothing on my board is altering this.
It's only my board.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I'm weird in it in that when we ex-Templar member Reld used to play Kalia a lot, and it was a really cool deck, but it usually didn't win because it would get hard targeted because you have to deal with Kalia. And it was very high powered. It wasn't like CDH, but it was very high powered. And I convinced him to, one, put Master of Cruelties in it, because I think it is a one bang that you kill the player. Like when you're going for that high power, gets the game over with quicker. And he didn't play it how I intended, but I convinced him to put Armageddon in it. Because I genuinely think if you get Kalia out on like turn 4 or 5 and no one else really has any flyers or creatures, blow up everything because you're going to win. Like, you have to do it at that point. Like, you've got Kalia with a Swiftfoot or something and maybe another ridiculous demon or angel that's there. Like, just blow everything up and get the game done. So I like that aspect of having cards like that there to end the game. The problem is, like, you can play Armageddon as you're about to die just as a salt play.
Absolutely.
So the salt ranking and turn zero, sorry, that's a game store in California, which is really good actually. If you're in America, look them up. They've got great price singles.
But this is not Athena.
It is not Athena, no. But Athena doesn't ship to the US.
No,
so
we don't.
It doesn't. You gotta support the US guys as well. But yeah, I think that the issue is more that just people play miserable stuff in the wrong way.
Yeah.
And I guess sometimes people think that's fun. Like some people like inflicting misery.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely.
You could be a sadist.
I just never have fun whenever like what was that like that there was that commander that looks like a dog or something and it just basically stops death triggers.
Yeah, that was another.
It is a dog. I think it's from Theros.
It's Kunaros.
Yes, yeah.
I don't want to pick on Reld here, but he built that as a casual deck. That was his solution to like a 5 to 6 out of 10 deck to compete with like Marcus coming into the game with Shirai and stuff.
Sure.
I don't think it was ever intended to specifically turn off Shirai and specifically turn off like so many decks, but it was always like he would be the first person to die.
Yeah.
And I think
of course, like we know like Reld has good intentions. Like in the end, that was just me going. So, what can I do with my deck now?
Yeah, exactly. And like that's the thing as well. Like when I built Zozu, I built it with the intention that I would probably get killed first.
Yeah.
But it would be used for quick games because it wasn't purely land destruction. It was mainly lands hurt you. You know what I mean? Like I will destroy one land because you're gonna get 5 damage when you buy another one, or like you're gonna tap them and it's gonna hurt you. So I think if you're doing it with that intent of like there's a reason, then I don't know. It's all depending on how you play. Like it really is. Like you could come up against a Zozu deck, get really worried because you've just played against land destruction, and it might not even be land destruction. It might just be like mono red burn, basically. You know what I mean?
I've played against Zozu decks where the entire point of the deck is get Zozu out, get Blood Moon out. Yeah. That's the game strategy. Just the entire point of the deck is just to try and make sure no one can ever use land.
Yeah.
And it's just like why would you want to like why turn up? Why play Magic if this is what you're intending to do? Like there are lots of single player games that you can go and do instead of doing this, Why do you have to ruin someone's fun?
100%. Let's go to a break. When we get back, we're gonna draw the winner for the Animator. But before we do go to the break, I want to ask the question from Run It's a Bear. We're not having any preference in chat here. It's a really interesting question. If you could remove one card from all of your future Commander games, what would you each choose? So I want everyone in chat to answer this as well. But Marcus, you first. What card would you remove from Commander?
I mean, of course, the joking answer is Kunos because it counters Shirai, but I really don't know otherwise.
Have you read the card Rest in Peace, Marcus?
No.
Every card that enters a graveyard is exiled, basically.
Yeah.
So
fuck, that sounds incredible.
and Rest in Peace exiles graveyards when it enters as well.
2 mana white enchantment. Enters battlefield, exile all graveyards. Anytime a thing would go into a graveyard, it's exiled instead.
Thank you for giving me an idea then.
Yeah, no problem.
Make sure you get some enchantment hate in that Shirai deck, because...
And your mono black deck.
What about you, Alex? One card to ban from Commander.
I think mine has to be Cyclonic Rift. I don't know. I really, really hate Cyclonic Rift.
I would rather unban stuff, because I prefer the notion of talk about it before.
Yeah, I mean that's fine.
And if you assume people aren't going to talk about it and play the way they play, there's too many that I would want to list. Because I'd want to, like, Draenei should, like, for me, Draenei is miserable.
I mean, I will say the reason I've picked Cyclonic Rift is because I usually don't play in pods where all the Winter Orbs and the static stuff.
Yeah.
I usually don't play in those kind of games. And the Cyclonic Rift is the single card that is, I think, probably the one that is used wrong the most.
Yeah.
And that's why I'd want that removed.
Psych Rift, I can agree with that. Smothering Tithe, I also think, in casual games should not have a place.
Sure.
Equally, though, as well, I don't think stuff necessarily, unless everyone is playing, like, Crypts, Moxes. I think they're fine in casual games as long as everyone's playing them. But you have to.
If everyone's using fast artifact mana, everyone can use fast artifact mana.
What we got?
The question was which card to ban, and Steve immediately goes to we should unban this.
Yeah,
like,
we should.
Steve has the mindset of, like the Incredibles, where it's if everyone is super, no one is.
Mostly just
Time Twister makes sense, actually. Well, actually, Time Twister is not like
Time Twister's just a wheel, isn't it?
Time Twister isn't Time Twister the budget replacement is the graveyard wheel thing. Time Twister, I believe,
because Time Twister's power 9.
Yes, yeah.
But it's like the 9th one.
It's like one of the best. I've like looked at Time Twisters and been like, oh man, I want one, but they are just too expensive.
Yeah. I mean, it's the one in the power 9 that doesn't really make sense to be there, because it's like Black Lotus, the 5 Mox, Ancestral Recall, Time Warp, Time Twister.
Yeah. Sorry, there's a lot of noise outside.
Yeah, the bins are noisy. Don't worry about it.
Set Time Twister aside in a new graveyard pile. Shuffle your hand, library, and graveyard together into a new library and draw a new hand of 7 cards, leaving all cards in play where they are. Opponent must do the same, which is the same as a card. Is it Modern Horizons? Echo of Eons?
Echo of Eons has flashback. But Echo of Eon costs for 6 and flashbacks for 3. But Time Twister is just a wheel, isn't it? You shuffle your hand in your library, hand in your graveyard into your library, and everyone draws 7 cards. That's all.
Each player shuffles their hand and graveyard into their library and draws 7 cards. So it's the same as Echo of Eons. Echo of Eons, though, is 6 mana. Time Twister is 3.
Yeah.
Which is why I get it.
Yeah.
And the price tag.
It's why it's so expensive. It's also why Wheel of Fortune is so expensive.
Yep. Yeah.
Which is why people call those effects wheels, not because of Time Twister, but because of Wheel of Fortune, which I think is kind of interesting.
Yeah. Smothering Tithe, get that goddamn card out of here, yeah. Again, that's the annoyance of, like, are you paying? Are you paying? Are you paying?
Yeah.
You know?
It's the same with Ristic Study, isn't it? Or even Mystic Remora as
yeah,
well.
Mystic Remora's a bit more... Like, no one's paying for Mystic Remora.
Oh, no,
you're just not
like 4,
playing
isn't
stuff.
it?
Yeah, it's
just
4.
Like, you just accept that they're going to draw a card, or you just don't play any spells.
I would remove Draenei, breaks Commander, ban the other cards from the air with the same price tag, Tabernacle and Cradle. Yeah, Cradle's like crazy good.
Yeah, Cradle is, but equally, I personally don't play in any games where Cradle would even be a consideration. Just because I tend to not play CDH, and I tend to not play with many like proxy stuff.
Yeah.
Just in my playgroup, it's just in general. So yeah, I don't generally just play with.
Wait till you
play with
finish
guys,
uni and you start coming and playing with the Templar more, Alec.
I
You'll
can't.
experience all these horrible
Actually.
cards and proxies.
Can't do it.
I know.
I have a small question now that we're talking about Smothering Tide. Because of course it's one of those cards where when it comes out, people want to immediately target it because it's people who have the card played like can usually go out of control.
Yeah.
In that sense, what about Black Market?
Oh, yeah, but it's more niche. Way more niche.
In a similar vein, Guardian Project.
Yeah.
Guardian Project's also crazy good.
I think the problem with Smothering Tide, and casual specifically, is that it's triggered on every player's turn, no matter what they do.
Yeah, and every time they draw a card, it's not like the first. It's not
Yeah.
like the first time they would draw a card. It's
every
every time they
card.
draw a card.
So, like with Guardian and Black Market, there are way more specific conditions that have to be hit. So I think you have to combine them with other cards, whereas Smothering is just on its own.
Yeah.
Bonkers.
It's just pure value without any conditions.
I think as well in 4 or 5 years time, if it doesn't get reprinted, I don't think Smothering will be as much of a problem because it will be 80 quid.
Yeah.
No one will play it.
Yeah, for sure.
I think that's the thing with a lot of these cards. It's like really, I only know 1 or 2 players that play Mana Crypt in casual decks, and it's always pretty brutal. But you just have to deal with it because you just don't see Mana Crypts. If it was in a pre-con, that card would be crazy because everyone would be playing it.
Yeah.
And as long as everyone's playing it, actually, it's not a problem.
Yeah.
But everyone has to be playing
Yeah,
it.
because Mana Crypt is like 80 quid, but Mana Vault is like 20 or 30 or something. So
Yeah.
you can pick up cheap Mana Vaults, but cheap Mana Crypts are hard to come by.
Yeah, and Vault is like a one-turn thing, right? Like you're tapped and then it's tapped, whereas Crypt is like every turn, just crazy. But anyway, we will go to a break. We'll be back very shortly, probably 5-10 minutes. We're not going to leave you with Marcus this week because we felt really bad last time that he just couldn't go to the bathroom or do anything.
I actually
Alright, we're going to have a 10-minute
that. I
break.
just
Marcus,
erased it
entertain
from my
everyone.
memory.
Go on.
So we'll be back in 5-10 minutes. If you have not joined our Discord and entered the free giveaway for Arid Mesa, make sure you do so now. It will be given away as soon as we get back. So we will see you all in 5-10 minutes. And talk about it now because we are back with Templar Talks, talking about Rule Zero.
Hi.
And Marcus has had an epiphany in the break. He has an opinion.
He's
I
generated
realized
himself an
that I have
entire
an opinion that actually sounds maybe a bit interesting. Cards like Wheel of Fortune and Armageddon, which affects every single player, right?
Yeah.
I do not mind because they affect every single player.
Yeah.
I really don't know. I find a lot of people get frustrated because then you have to go through the entire slog of building up all your mana and stuff like that again and building up your board state. But in a way, it's kind of like just taking a new game, right?
Yeah. I think stuff that resets stuff too hard is bad. But wheels, board wipes when not used in excess are just cool.
Yeah.
And
to an extent, stuff like Devastation Tide compared to Cyclonic Rift. Devastation Tide bounces all non-land permanents.
Everything, yeah,
including
your
opponent's non-land permanents. But I'm fine with
and
Devastation
it's more
Tide.
mana as well, isn't it? Or it's similar mana. It's 6 or something. 5
I think
or 6.
it's 5 to cast, but it miracles for 2 because Miracle was the thing.
On a side note, though, as well, if you are an Athena local and you want a £5 gift card and you're coming to Commander on Monday, this is your early chance to win it if you're happening to tune into the stream. If not, I'll just give it away on Monday anyway as part of our first promotion for Commander Legends. But I would like to illustrate that for less than £5 at Athena, we just bought all of these snacks here. So 2 bottles of water, 2 Pringles, Coke, everything's good value here. Yeah. And you can actually buy it here, but the bad side to that is you're going to hear a lot of
We are both eating Pringles on the stream now. Also, don't unban Upheaval. Go away.
What does Upheaval do?
Bounces everything. All permanents.
Oh, yeah, no.
Sounds amazing.
Marcus just comes in turns Rule 0. I'm going to just put Upheaval in all my decks and
Oh, it affects everyone? Go for it. Go for it.
Thank you very much for the follow, Brighthammer.
Wait,
anyway.
Counter Shirai?
Upheaval doesn't affect everyone because the person who's played Upheaval floats all their mana with all their mana rocks and then just plays all their stuff. Nothing matters anymore.
That is true.
Upheaval is a combo card. It's nothing else.
No,
What if I had
it
split
affects
second?
everyone now. Alex, you're crazy.
Can you still respond to it with mana abilities?
You're not responding. You just float all your mana. You can float mana for nothing.
What if there was some weird condition that it could only be played in your combat phase?
If Upheaval said, return all permanents, empty all mana pools, maybe.
Yeah,
but that's a stretch.
Yeah, that is a big stretch. But let's give away this Arid Mesa. Last chance, guys. If you want to enter, get in the Discord. Marcus is going to link it now.
I am. Fuck. Oh my god, hang on.
I'm going to start. I noticed that I have been hard scammed here.
Jester, I'm very sorry. I thought it was going to be a raffle, but I don't understand anything. It's in the Discord.
So, Marcus, can you do me a favour? Because I noticed that I made the big mistake and didn't say react with this emoticon. I just said react, and I have been hard trolled because everyone has reacted with different reactions. So would you mind just having a look through and reading the names and I'll make sure they're not duplicates.
Okay, do you want me to just like make a list and send you a screenshot?
No, I'd rather you did it on air. It's funnier.
Fucking god.
How many responses are there?
I don't think there's that many.
How the fuck do I check the list of reactions from my PC?
You just click reactions.
No mind. Alright, so the biggest issue is, of course, like I can see there's 11 people who have reacted with the USA email.
Cool, let's start with the USA. Who's reacted with that?
Alright, Bronze Panda.
Mm-hmm.
Aurelian Soul Main.
Here we go.
Rune of Satan.
Oh, wait.
No, Runed Sabir. I don't know. Run it's a fuck. I'm so dumb. It's a run. It's a bear. It's run. It's a bear.
Run it's a bear. I thought.
Anyway, so yeah.
Runis?
Bronze Panda, Aurelian Soul Main, Run It's a Bear.
Yep.
Enna Matrix.
What, sorry?
Tanker Gear.
No, Matrix. Yep.
Enna Matrix.
Yep.
Tanker Gear.
Tanker. Yep.
NCPD Scotney.
Yep.
Mookip.
Yep.
Chuck
out,
the Boomer.
That's Dan, isn't it?
That's Dan, yeah.
Chuck the Boomer. Shout out Chuck the Boomer, man. Chuck the Boomer is a fucking legend.
What a lad. Alright, and of course the most important one here, Nicholas Rage.
Yeah, I'm not entering.
Taro.
Taro,
yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4. So that's everyone for that, isn't it? No, one more.
I mean, there's of course Alex. So,
Alex
yeah,
can't enter either. Fuck you,
Yeah,
Alex.
I'm not entering it.
Okay, next one.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, alright, so then the ones who was reacted with Mana W, Bronze Panda, Jester, actually.
Jester.
In a Matrix has already... Oh, there you go. The Nefarious Mongoose.
Mongoose. By the way, guys, I'm sure this is thrilling viewing, but this does give you a chance to enter if you haven't already.
Absolutely. And Nissan.
Any others, or have we got everyone?
Not in that one. And in MTG, there is... Oh, there is also 2 here. SMKIS.
What?
SMKIS. I don't know how I'm meant to pronounce it.
SMKIS. Oh, SMK. Yeah.
And there is Sento Bannon.
Sento. Yep.
Alright. And in Kissing Heart, there is NCPD Wolfjob.
Yep.
In PN Cell Mofire, there is Falconer.
Falconer, yep.
And in Neon Sea Prey, there is Tom.
Okay, cool. So we have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 entrants. So, yeah, not bad. I doubt anyone can actually see this, but just in case, there is no, that is far too bright.
White.
Let me just turn it there. There you go. You can see a spinning wheel above Marcus. There are in fact 17 names on that wheel that have all entered via Discord, and we'll spin it, and me and Alex will verify. I'll try and show it on the camera, but you never know. And this is to win a Arid Mesa posted anywhere in the world. One thing actually, just to mention, if you are not following us on Twitch, when I message you, you will not be entered.
Oh.
Tap to spin.
Follows.
I just realized, Comet of Legends, are you Aurelian Soulmane? Am I that dumb?
And the winner is Taro. I believe there's a full name to that. I can't remember the rest of it. I just put Taro because...
Well, that's on at least, what is it called? Discord is just Taro.
Oh, is it? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. So, Taro, you have won a copy of Arid Mesa. It will be posted to you wherever you are in the world. Don't forget, we do this every month, so it will be another card. I don't know what we'll give away, quite frankly, because during the Commander Legends pre-release, we are giving away so much stuff. We'll have to find something for that week before, but I'm sure we can figure something out. So, yeah, congratulations, Taro. And
should I just give him a
honestly,
little tag
guys,
in general, because I don't think he's watching.
Yeah, go for it, dude. Just chuck a, put it in announcements or something. Put it in general, wherever you want.
I'll put in announcements actually.
But yeah, honestly, the Commander, I can't preface this enough. I'm gonna be hammering this with videos and stuff in the Discord. If you are from the UK, probably within a 2-hour drive of Athena Games, it is gonna kind of be worth your while to go to this pre-release instead of your pre-release, because it's genuinely going to be ridiculous. We're going to be giving away a lot of stuff. It's going to be a lot of fun, and afterwards as well, we'll be heading out on the town, so you can come party with the Templar. It could get very problematic, but it's all fun and games. And then I have to play in a band the next day, which is going to be fun. So I'll have to get up nice and early and do that. But yeah, it will be a good time. The set looks fun. The set looks really cool. And yeah, the stuff we're giving away is genuinely
the set looks fun from what we've seen, which hasn't been officially released.
Yes, this is true. We don't acknowledge leaks, so we haven't seen any of it. But it looks good.
We've seen nothing. We have seen no mechanics.
Yes, but yeah, it's gonna be a blast. We're gonna go kind of full out. Yeah, it's gonna be amazing. What band? It's a friend of mine's band. Their drummer could not make a gig for the Queen's Jubilee, so I'm having to fill in on the drums, which is going to suck. But it is what it is. We've got the pre-release the day before, which is the main thing. So if you are in the UK, if you're not in the UK, make sure you watch. If you're visiting the UK anytime around June, come out, and it will be a blast and a half. Yeah.
And if you want to feel like you're in the UK, go to a football game.
Yeah, to show how much of a football fan you are, I'm pretty sure the Prem has finished by June, so you wouldn't be able to at that point. But yeah, but yeah, honestly, I think yeah, we've tried to make this is a little bit of an insight behind the curtain of what we're thinking at Templar, or specifically my brainchild. What I want to happen is we've tried to make it worthwhile for people that are within the UK to come and, make the journey. And we hope that the next events we're part of are worthwhile for you to come from Europe. You know what I mean? We want to keep building this, so we make it worthwhile for you to travel.
Yeah, no small ambitions here.
Yeah, no small ambitions. We want to do it right. We want to bring the party into Magic the Gathering events.
You're gonna get a Black Lotus if you come.
No, you're not.
No, you're not.
Fuck. Genuinely though, that is actually an ambition I have. That is insane. But if we do grow enough as a channel, I would love to give away Black Lotus.
That's insane.
Yeah, but it would you'd have to be at a certain point. I know, but it would be amazing to give away a Black Lotus. I think that's the thing. I genuinely I think giving stuff away is some of the funnest things you can do with money anyway. It's almost like giving someone a booster pack 9 times out of 10 is better than buying one and opening it yourself, just because of it's that glee of someone getting something for nothing, and it's all just good vibes really.
We never get something. We're gonna Commander from the pre-release. We're gonna make you work for it a little bit.
Not too hard.
No, not too hard.
You'll have to jump through a couple of hoops.
Yeah, just a little baby hoops.
I did have sorry, I really shouldn't have stuffed my mouth with Pringles. I had a really amazing idea that I'm not going to mention on stream. because I'm 99% sure we can't do it because of health and safety.
Oh God. Okay.
Well, actually, no. You know what? I will talk about it because I'm 99% sure we won't do this because of health and safety.
Yeah.
But I thought a fun mini game we could do between rounds would be how many booster boxes can you balance on your head? For like a set period, like you know what I mean, you have to hold it for like 5 to 10 seconds.
Issue?
But just like that's a quick thing that people could be like, oh, I finished my game, cool, stack them up.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that one.
Yeah, health and safety definitely. I don't think that one's gonna be a good idea.
I'm not sure about that one.
What's wrong? Like, what do you think? Like, people are just gonna, I don't know. What are people gonna do that's gonna hurt them?
Well, you have to think if they're trying to balance stuff on their head, they're likely to like walk into tables or other things, which then could like say they walk into our table with all our streaming equipment on. And then that goes flying, which then pulls like the rest of the stuff flying. An electrical fire starts because the plugs have been like. There's a lot of things that could go
also,
wrong.
Like, just
that.
from a simplicity thing, like they're not
fittest.
light. Like if you had 3 stacked on top of your head and they fell on someone, like that's not nothing.
Yeah. That's why those kind of challenges we're gonna do when we're not actually personally hosting the event. So like as an example, when we go to the next big Magic Fest event that Marcus is at, we happily invite you to throw things at him. If you can hit him with a magic related product without him noticing, you'll win a prize.
Yeah.
In fact, it was like,
that just goes
I thought
for...
it was meant to be a wrapped burrito.
Oh yeah, or no. It was wasn't it? It was a magic card or a wrapped burrito. But we can throw sealed product in there as well.
Yeah.
If someone throws a crate of booster boxes,
that just goes for any time you see Marcus in public as well.
In all
Like,
honesty,
just
as long
if
as
you
don't
ever
hit
see
my
Marcus,
face, I really don't think I would mind. It's free stuff, right? Like, I love free stuff.
I love the way this is really not like. I love the way we're trying to like make Templar Talks our serious show, and then we just resort back to this shit anyway. It's like,
well,
it's just, we're just degenerates. Like, it just is what it is. I would like nothing would like. It shows how much of like a prankster I am with it. But if we ever blew up and went viral, nothing would make me happier than to get a phone call from you, Marcus, saying someone had chucked a burrito at you in Denmark. That would just be fucking top.
That would be incredible.
Like, amazing. Like just like you're on like FaceTime call and you're just covered in like beans and beef and stuff.
No, Steve, you're forgetting an important detail here. I will be happy and excited because they just provided me a free lunch.
Yeah, you're just eating the remnants. Like, hey, dude, I got a free burrito.
Oh, I got a fucking burrito. It's pretty good.
Yeah. No, just it has to be partially
Denmark,
wrapped. We need to have some potential explosion. But yeah, I think that's the thing. Like, we have to, as much as stuff like that is funny, we want to make sure no one gets hurt at our first like you know, event we're kind of helping out with. So there's going to be some fun, stupid challenges. Maybe, actually, you know, something just off the cusp we could do with a whiteboard is just like a Pictionary type thing.
Yeah.
Guess the magic card, like that could be a funny one. I'm really bad at drawing, so that could be.
Yeah, I'm also terrible at drawing, so.
I don't think anyone in the Templar is good at drawing.
What's this
Marcus
card? Marcus, you're drawing Shirai for the 8th time. How could it tell?
Marcus knows what one card is, and it's Shirai. So.
That would be amazing if you were at the event and everyone like guessing the minute you like the timer goes and you hold the pen up. It's Shirai.
Shirai. It's always Shirai.
Fuck! How do you know?
They're in my head. But anyway, back to topic now. We've got the giveaway shenanigans and talked about
it's all done.
Stupid ideas. Back to the actual Rule Zero implications. So I think what we've kind of taken away from what everyone actually, I'm just going to reference that. Pronounce the stupid card name. That would be a great game.
Pronounce the stupid card name is a very, very good one.
Oh, or what about like naming Russian magic cards or something like that? Like I'm pretty sure I have some booster packs of back when you had was it Hour of Devastation you had in Russian?
It's Shadows.
You had Shadows. You had a set in French as well. I remember there was
French one of the gods we had.
There was literally a period. I'm pretty sure I bought them and didn't open them because I remember coming in to buy a booster.
Yeah.
You didn't have like double masters or something. I was gonna just crack, so I was like, sod it. I'll buy the foreign language boosters and just put them in a cupboard. So like that could be funny. Like I don't know. guess the magic card in simplified Chinese.
Yeah, something like that. Or I think word games are always good. Like Wordle. I play Wordle every day because I'm a massive nerd.
I used to, but
if we could have like a Wordle equivalent, but it's just the magic card name, that'd be kind of fun.
I'm really disappointed in myself because in this time I've been scanning this board game shelf for there's that game that is called Toss the Burrito, right?
Oh, throw burrito.
Throw burrito, because I just wanted to bring it on camera and be like, Marcus.
I don't know if we have any throw burrito.
Oh, that's sad. We'll have to play it one time on stream with Marcus, but with a real burrito.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Flavor Text is another good one. There's a lot of good games, but we're going to keep it very fun and stupid, and it's going to be a good time for all. But yeah, Rule Zero. I think the big takeaways are just that it's a great thing. I don't think anyone disagrees with the fact that Rule Zero is important, but it's also no one is really no one's gonna watch this enough to. It's like a drop in the water, right? Like it's not gonna make a difference enough. But I think genuinely the key of just be more reasonable, more open, more communicative, and think about what you're playing before you play it. That's a huge thing. Not that we're not in a position to be like, this is how you should play Magic the Gathering, because if it was, then reserve list, we'd all be playing Vintage and stuff if I had my way and I had more money, because I ain't got money like that. But
we'd all be playing Shirai.
Yeah, Marcus, it'd just be Shirai pods, all mirrored decks, so he doesn't have to worry about what anyone else is doing. Everyone has the same hand as well in deck order, so it's just whoever goes first wins.
It's just stacked completely,
But yeah, I think that is it. Just people need to, don't take our word for it, but it will probably be a more pleasant experience for everyone that you play Commander with if you just think more about what cards you play and when you play them.
It's also just a general rule for life, right? Think before you act.
Think before you act.
Yeah, this is getting way too deep. It is basically the Rule Zero conversation really isn't related to Magic. It is basically just
it's a lifestyle choice, isn't it?
There's no need to actively make other people miserable in anything.
I use "don't be a dick" as a judge ruling all the time.
Yeah.
It was for Commander, there was a situation that came up where someone was like, "Is there anything that prevents me tapping all of my mana and playing this thing?" And then the miscommunication there would be I still have mana floating that I can play another card with. But I was like, no, it's completely within the rules. You can tap all your mana and play a thing, that's fine. You don't technically have to announce that you've got floating mana. But it just comes down to you're trying to catch someone out. Don't be a dick.
Yeah. I think that's it. With other formats, modern, standard, etc., the game polices itself by having specific cards banned and rotation. Whereas because Commander is such a big card pool, and it's not competitive, it's that really weird space.
Yeah. There's a lot of weird space in it as well because it's not competitive, but you still want to win.
Yeah, and you can make it very competitive.
And you can make it competitive.
And if you do that in
CDH,
a pod you shouldn't do it in, then you're going to make everyone miserable.
Then everyone has a bad time.
I know, as well, you can play your strong deck in a lower pod as long as everyone knows your arch.
We're not saying don't play good cards.
Yeah.
Because I think that does come across sometimes when people complain about some card choices. Obviously, Smothering Tithe is a garbage card for casual pods, but in the right pod, it's appropriate.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can play good cards just as long as everyone is on the same page with why those good cards are being played and what.
Or even Smothering Tithe, if you're playing Group Hug and an actual nice Group Hug deck, is Feldergriff one where you're just giving people hippos and. Is it hippos or elephant? I don't know what you're giving people.
Yeah, it gives people hippos or something. But Feldergriff, another card that's on the reserve list for no reason.
Yeah.
Screw that. Because I would love a Feldergriff deck, but I can't get a Feldergriff. I don't think they're expensive. I just haven't actually tried to get one.
They are a lot more than you would think.
Yeah.
I think they're £20, £30.
Yeah, but it's too much money for a random, not very good thing. And I'll just play Kianos and Tira instead because I like that one.
Yeah. But to be fair, I think Rule Zero is maybe we have covered all there is to cover with it.
I feel like just one thing to add. I think Rule Zero could become a lot easier to use if there was a genuine, elaborate site that showed a bunch of the meta decks and where they ranked generally.
The problem is there's not really a meta. It's too big.
Yeah, there can't really be a meta. I get what you mean though. Like a standardized list of cards that are too good here, but fine
but
here.
not necessarily just the cards, right? But like specifically decks, because one card could become insanely broken in one deck, whereas it's kind of useless in another deck. Like, yeah, I guess specifically in Commander that can become incredibly tough. But yeah, like it's a big ambitious thing. But if something like that was made, I think Rule Zero would become far more viable.
I think a lot of people are very good at Rule Zero. I usually try to avoid name dropping people because I don't want to put name and shame if people are doing things badly.
Name drop 3 people this chat.
Yeah, well, but Ian and is it? Oh, I can't remember the name. It's the guy I always forget the name of. Joe. Specifically at Athena.
Joe was upstairs earlier, actually. I told him that this was happening. I think he's going to watch it on YouTube.
Oh, okay. Well,
hi, Joe.
Hi, Joe.
Oh, nice.
But specifically, the way that I've had interactions with them in pods, and also equally seen how they are, and I like to think I try to be that way as well. With other players, I think is what keeps people playing Magic and having fun.
Yeah, absolutely. The way I've said a lot of nice things about Joe in the past, and I will continue to do so. But the way Joe plays Commander is basically the ideal state of how Commander should be played, in my personal opinion.
I'm not gonna say it because I don't want to leak any personal information, but I do think his job probably helps. And I think
for sure.
I think that's the thing. I think
patience and that kind of stuff.
Yeah. If you are used to that kind of an environment, Run It's a Bear has said thank you. Is Run It's a Bear Ian or Joe?
That's because one of his suggestions as a minigame was recognizing MTG cards from their flavor text.
Is Run It's a Bear Ian?
Right. Is Ian watching? Maybe Ian?
I've forgotten what Ian's Twitch thing is.
Either way, it's a pleasure to see people.
Yeah, it is Ian.
It's Ian. Yeah, it's a pleasure to see people interacting like that because, for me, that's why. And actually, I'm going to include everyone here because I think Alex is an auto-include, obviously, and all of the other Templar I've had the direct discussion with before you even joined. The reason we're so keen to partner with Athena in any way we can is because it's a very much welcoming. I think it could be more welcome. Players. If every player was if every player was acting the way that we're describing it, it'd be perfect, but. The world isn't perfect.
No.
And you can't gatekeep specific people from coming in and out because that's
sure.
not a thing. But it's great to have a community that it is so welcoming, and it ties even over because I want to name drop the game because I've been enjoying it so much. It's tied over to Flesh and Blood. I've started playing Flesh and Blood here, and even the community there were very much kind of what cards do you need? Here's advice, and doing it in a friendly way, and I think that's the core of every LGS, and that's the core of every community. Is it's helping people without being condescending, and it's making.
Whilst I appreciate that sentiment, Steve, I feel like again for games like Flesh and Blood, which are relatively new and relatively small, that is how most communities are going to be. It's as soon as they become as big as Magic, where there's going to be a lot of elitist players, that you're gonna start seeing a lot more dickheads. To say it
that's true. Yeah, but I think you can have elitist players that aren't. I would argue that Alex is fairly elitist with Magic.
Yeah, I have been in the past. Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't think you're that way in a bad way. I think you can.
Okay, pretentious elitist.
Oh, okay. I'm not gonna start calling Alex pretentious. Just start slamming shit across the table.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
I know what you mean.
I've definitely I've caught myself being relatively elitist towards Magic in the past, but I genuinely believe it's the best TCG. So I will go out of my way to say that as often as I can. And obviously, I work in the game store. I'm not going to actively dissuade people from playing other card games. When people come in looking for Yu-Gi-Oh decks, I'm just no, don't buy that trash. Here's a good game. I don't do that.
You should.
As much as I want to.
and when they leave, you don't just say they don't see the artistry, the perfection of this game.
We're actually going to hire an MMA fighter for the CLT pre-release to just stay in the lobby of Athena and fight anyone that tries to enter the store that isn't there for Magic.
Yeah.
Just to make sure they don't get
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Like we can, the community is everything, and we can just all hope that one day Magic gets to that level of like the League of Legends community where everything is perfect, and no one gets mad, and everyone's welcome.
Yeah, the League of Legends community, the ideal example of a perfect community.
I don't know if anyone. Have you ever played League?
No, but I've heard enough about the League of Legends community.
There's a reason why it's considered the most toxic community in entirety of gaming
salty
history.
Bunch of children.
Yeah, it is unbelievable how bad the community is. Because I assumed when I first started playing League, and I guess it's the same thing with Magic, you would assume that the higher up the ladder of play you go, the better the community is going to be.
Yeah.
The better you are. When you get to high ranks, it's like the opposite.
I think I would expect
the more toxic you are, the better you are.
Like the casual level are always more welcoming. I mean, literally look at Magic as an example, right? The Commander, which is the casual level, they're the most welcoming bunch.
True.
Modern players.
But actually, I'd say though, my experience of Magic is the players that are the most welcoming are those that play Commander, but also play one of those harder formats. So like Modern, Pioneer, Draft, Legacy, whatever.
I mean, that's something
standard.
We've mentioned that in a previous podcast, isn't it? That people need the competitive outlet, and that people who play those other formats use that as the competitive outlet. Like I play Modern as my competitive format, and then when I play Commander, I'm not looking to get that competitive kick in. I'm looking to have a good time. I enjoy my favorite Commander games are the ones that last 2+ hours, because we're just chatting and playing stuff and that kind of thing. That's my ideal, but that's my ideal scenario.
I have to admit, I miss because obviously I play Commander a lot here. I used to play a lot more kitchen table Commander, which, to be honest, is mainly just time with juggling other hobbies, work, coming here. You don't want to do too much of one thing, right?
Absolutely.
There's only a certain amount of time in the day, but I do miss that because that is usually more that longer games. No one really cares about the game. It is just you're there to hang out. Whereas obviously when you come here, if you're getting pods with other people that you don't necessarily know, it is more about the game. But I agree with you. If you can hit that sweet spot, it's just the dream, really. Where everyone has a good time. It drags out a bit, but then when it's coming to a close, it closes fairly swiftly.
Yeah.
And I definitely think there's something to as well. If you're a player that is a lot more open-minded with your card selection and when you use stuff, and if you want to try and be that friendly influence and try and gather community, next time you're at your LGS, wherever that may be, just try and get a game with random people and try and spread that to others. Do you know what I mean? It's amazing the people you'll meet, and there's a lot of friendly people out there. So I feel we've actually stayed kind of on topic today.
Yeah, kind of on topic. We're doing all right for time. I think
we had a lovely tangent, but I feel like that was necessary at times.
Yeah. Speaking of tangents, I might give away a Flesh and Blood Blitz deck at some point to try and get more people on. I actually want to. I didn't put this in the schedule, and I don't know if it's you. I feel bad targeting you because you've got uni stuff on at the moment. But I want to do an episode some point between now and fit in our next 3-month schedule where we just do an episode of Stephen forces Templar to play Flesh and Blood.
Sure.
Because I've played it with a lot with Scotney. Scotney's played a lot now for NCPD. Ed played it once, almost bought booster packs, and then because I can't remember what it was, there was they weren't on the system or they weren't available upstairs, so we had to come downstairs. That was enough time for him to be hang on, no, I'm a Magic player, and stop. So it's kind of he was almost on the hook.
I mean, I'd say I'm invested. I've bought packs. I own 2 Blitz decks.
Oh, okay.
In all honesty, I feel like that's actually a good
but,
YouTube series. You got an idea for this, D?
Not Stephen forces Templar members to do things.
Yeah,
I'm sure we can move that to other platforms outside of YouTube.
I don't know. I mean, if we wanted to start getting more content on YouTube, right?
Yeah, I agree. We did have this whole investigates other board games kind of thing planned, but not board games, tabletop games. But yeah, I'm just a huge advocate for anything that is away from modern media. And I know that sounds so stereotypical, but I didn't even play Magic when I was younger, but I love the nostalgic element of card games, because I played Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon. And I'd love to do that, like, you know, we have a Mario Kart day on N64 or something. It's probably before was N64's before?
N64's before me, yeah.
What was, like, your childhood
I love
game
Mario
system?
Kart Wii.
Well, I wasn't really too much into video games. Like, I owned an Xbox, the first one. Literally, I think I can count the consoles I've owned in like one hand. I've owned an Xbox, I had a DS Lite.
Yay.
We got a Wii at some point, and that was basically all we had. Like, but I moved in with my fiance Francesca. Like, she has a GameCube. She's got a PlayStation 3. We've got now.
That's about, like, obviously I've known you for a while now, but I don't know that much outside of, like, we just talk about Magic all the time. Because, like, that's the thing. Like, it's like all my friends that I've met through football, we just talk about football.
For sure.
And you kind of, like, discover this, oh shit, like, and, like, actually it's a great example with Ian. We were playing Magic, just talking about Magic. And I think Ian mentioned something about band practice, and it's like, drums.
Yeah, Ian's also
cool.
a drummer.
Yeah. So it's like, you find these weird tangents, but it surprises me because, like, I just associate most people that play card games and stuff to have had an interest in video games, like, growing up. But I don't know. How did you get into card game? Was it literally just like a high school club type thing?
Yeah. So I got into Magic. It was a high school club. Basically, my girlfriend at the time. In high school, basically, I found this, like, she was disappearing every lunch break, and I was just like, well, where's she going? What's going on? It turns out she was hanging out with the Magic group. They met in a classroom. There were a couple of them. Rocco was one of them. That kind of people.
Is this the first story that has ever started with a girl and led to Magic?
it could be, yeah. But yeah, no. Basically, because she was friends with all those people, so I started hanging out in the classroom more, and then one of them gave me a demo, and that was basically it. And then I started getting involved, and that was like Dark Ascension time, 2012.
I think what put me onto TCGs was TV, because I watched Pokemon and I watched Yu-Gi-Oh! So it was like, specifically, I didn't really care about Pokemon. I think a couple of friends, like, at birthday parties got you a booster pack of Pokemon. You know what I mean? Like, so I had a couple of cards in folders. But Yu-Gi-Oh! Was the one that, like, I thought, holy shit, this TV show is cool. Like, I remember, I got I still have first edition starter deck Yu-Gi and Kaibas because I got them when they released. Like, I was obsessed with that. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know why I always just associate, like, the nerdier culture with, like, trading cards and board games and stuff. Like, to start with video games, because I guess it did with me. Like, my dad basically used me as an excuse to buy consoles.
Sure.
So, like, he'd buy a Sega Saturn for me, but actually he would just sit at home and play it, like, when he got home from work. So it's kind of one of those.
Dad, I want to play. No.
Yeah, it literally was like that, dude. Like, I'm not even kidding. Like, I remember. I don't even know. I only know this, like, because I've been told after the fact, because I was too young to remember. But I think he bought, like, a Commodore 64 for me. I was like 2 or 3, and it's like that's like a keyboard floppy like a very hard to use
kind
machine.
Of machine.
And it just became the thing that he used me as the excuse to buy video game stuff. So I just grew up, like, playing games with him, and, you know.
I think my dad probably did a very similar thing, but instead of buying stuff, it was just an excuse for him to watch the show he likes. So we watched Star Trek. Because he loved Star Trek. I also love Star Trek. Star Trek's great. But there was just, his excuse was, like, clearly he wanted to watch Star Trek more. So it became like every night we'll watch an episode of Star Trek. So we just, like, we knocked it out one after another. We watched every single Star Trek, chronological order of release, bash. We watched every single thing.
Yeah, I think it's weird for me because, like, the older I know it's a typical thing. The older you get, like, the more you hint of, like, nostalgia back to your childhood. But for me, it's like with Magic, it's weird because I never played Magic, and, like, D&D, I love D&D. I love the whole concept of D&D. I loved Stranger Things because of the D&D aspect and the 80s aspect, but I wasn't born until 1990. I just love the idea of, like, that kind of culture and that kind of stuff. Like, so I've got into it from a weird nostalgic point of, like, I never experienced it when I was a kid, but I like the idea of taking the screens away, and it's why I really struggled, Marcus, with when you were running campaigns for Dungeons and Dragons, because my whole principal thing is like, I don't want to be sat at a desk, because I'm sat at a desk all day, every day.
Yeah,
I want to get away from the desk.
Let's play D&D, the interactive hobby. Let's go sit at a desk.
Yeah, and then it's like, cool, we've got to do it online.
I mean, you have the same argument, like people who say that they prefer reading like a book in hand rather than on a screen or Kindle.
Yeah, I've never. Kindles I get more because they're like a different. They don't look like a screen. I know it is a screen, but it does look like paper.
But, I mean, no, it is genuinely designed like it actually has the same feeling as reading a book.
But like I've tried to use my iPad as an ebook, and I can't. I don't read that much anymore. I used to read a lot, but
I don't read that much.
I hate using screens. That kind of stuff. It's just, I don't know. There's something weird about it. It's just getting away from the screen, and like it was great. When we started D&D, I think it was lockdown, wasn't it, Marcus? So like we were all stuck inside, interacting via. Like I actually during lockdown, I played so many video games, and that was when I got the spur to play Spell Table so much with Magic. It's like I mainly got into Magic big time over lockdown via Spell Table, but I hate Spell Table now. And
Spell Table is terrible.
Yeah, but it's like it's an excellent tool, and I understand why people use it. But it's honestly the reason we at the Templar. This is before you even joined. Like why we stopped streaming as much was because no one wanted to sit at home in their own house and interact over the internet for like a couple hours to play Magic when we could just do it in person.
Yeah, for sure.
Streaming in person is obviously a more problematic thing, but we've kind of found the solution, hopefully, bringing that LGS vibe with the atmosphere of the full gaming hall, and hopefully we'll be doing it more at Athena. But yeah, let's finish it all off and round up with some chat that we've caught. Well, I've missed anyway. Alex is indeed a young'un.
I am, unfortunately.
How old are you again, Alex?
I am 24.
Are you younger or older, Marcus? Are you the youngest Templar?
I'm the youngest Templar, I believe, as my birthday is the 30th of May, and I'm 23.
Oh, shit. Marcus,
I'm so used to being the youngest. Like, I was the youngest staff member here for a long time.
Really? Oh, well, yeah, but you joined when you were very young.
I started here when I was 17.
In some weird way, like in every single of my main friend groups, like the ones I socialize with the most, I am actually always the youngest.
Mm-hmm. I have a very weird mix of social groups in that I regularly hang out with like 50 to 60-year-olds as well as like 20-year-olds. Like it's really, and I think a lot of it is because. Oh, I thought that was a joke there, Marcus. I was waiting. But I think it's because like of hobbies being like, from football, like you get to meet people. Like it's like I think at where I play football, there's a guy that's maybe 18 or 19. I wouldn't say I like hang out with him, but it's like someone you socialise with just because it's football. And it's the same here. You meet like
absolutely,
loads of people. Like I think one of the, I'm not going to name drop again, but I think one of the regulars is like 15, 16, isn't he?
Yeah.
So it's like you mix, especially Magic is the weirdest one because you literally do mix from like Flesh and Blood. The second week I came, there was like a dude in like his late 50s, and then there's like a guy that's like late teens.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's like card games do bring weird demographics together, which is cool. Like it's how you get to,
it depends how you define the demographics, right? So like obviously we're all nerds, so we're all interested, we all have the same hobby, we all do the same thing. It's just a case of like we're getting on at different times. So yeah, definitely, like if at a modern F&M and stuff, we have like people that are 15, 16, but we also go up to like again, not name dropping, but guy that always plays Burn. Go up like the entire spectrum. Most of us do tend to be in the 20s to 30s range, but there are definitely outliers in either end.
Yeah,
I think in general that's just a trend in general with hobbies. Like you can go anywhere. Like you've already mentioned football, you've mentioned Magic. I can mention the same thing with just general gaming. Like the age groups that you find are so varied.
Yeah, 100%. It's a good thing. It's one of those things that takes away that social barrier, I guess. Like, I don't know. But yeah, you're 27, Billy. You're not old. You're young. I'm well old. I'm in my 30s. Like,
whoa.
Billy
is not
boomer.
only 27 but also a beefcake. Nice.
I was literally actually at, I was out with my wife last night, and she was talking to like a group of strangers. We were at a bar that our friends own, and she was talking to our friends and this group of strangers, and I kind of joined, and they're like, "Oh, so you like the younger brother or something, or like," and like I'm just like, "What?" And they were all talking like aging themselves, like, "Oh yeah, I'm 28, I feel so old," and they're like, "Oh, you must be so much younger, right?" And I'm just like, "I'm 31." Like, cool, thank you, cheers. I guess it probably doesn't help though, because like I think I was wearing like shorts and trainers. Sure. I was just like, I don't care.
Fellow kids.
Yeah. But yeah, anyway. Got into Yu-Gi-Oh from the show. Yeah, same. Like, Yu-Gi-Oh is the go. I would like to play Yu-Gi-Oh again, but like original Yu-Gi-Oh. Like, get rid of all cards released in the last X.
You would be astonished, or maybe you wouldn't be astonished, how many people we have come here that are just like, I'm looking for a Yu-Gi-Oh deck, but I don't want anything that uses the extra deck or something like that. I don't want to. The only way I can summon use fusion summons, and that's it. Like, this is the way that I can play Yu-Gi-Oh.
I don't want to start this conversation because it could go on, but I feel Flesh and Blood are doing it right in that they're releasing a classic battle series where they've taken the first two heroes, and it comes out at the end of May. There's just two decks that have all of their like staple cards. I feel if Yu-Gi-Oh did that, where they were like, I know they do it with like Kaiba versus Yugi and stuff like that, but they need to like do it more because they can make so much money. And like it's the same with Magic with the they did World Championship decks. If you did that, like even now, do a vintage series. Like do a deck from 04 that won some weird tournament. People would buy it just because it's like, oh, I played an 04, but make them gold border, whatever, like unplayable cards. Like,
yeah, but you can't even reprint reserveless cards in that condition.
Yeah, well, let's not get, yeah, but don't even have to go back that far.
True. Yeah,
like, you could do more recent sets and just give people that nostalgia, you know, like, I can play my standard battles from the Ravnica block, like, that would be cool. But yeah,
I would be so down with that.
Yeah, exactly.
Favorite standard format. I love that so much.
And Wizards love printing money, so like Secret Lair Ravnica standard decks, like do it as a Secret Lair.
Secret Lair RTR Theros standard decks, I would be all over it.
Yeah, exactly. It's easy money making.
But you know what else should be standardized? Our lovely subscribers that are subscribed throughout this Templar Talks.
Sorry, Marcus, what was that?
The fuck? I was trying to make a very, very odd transition. I just said, but you know, now I can't speak. Good.
Today, Junior.
Okay. But you know what else should be standardized? Our lovely subscribers who have subscribed throughout this Templar Talks. Thank you so much for subscribing.
Thank you very much. Marcus, call them out.
We are heading towards the end now.
Call them all out. It's on you. You've mentioned it now.
Call them out. Okay. Let's see if I can remember them from the top of my head today. Today we've had Billy Beefcake. We have had God Prince Jester. And I feel like we've definitely had a third one, but I'm very sad that I can't remember.
I think I have... We've had Marcus.
No, we've also had fucking Run It's a Bear. But
yeah, and you've missed one more. You've missed one more.
I know. It's
our very own moderator, Falconer.
Yes, you're right. Yes. Falconer went and played Assetto Corsa, I think it was, right? So. Yeah.
But yeah, honestly, with sub stuff, please don't sub unless you're subbing with Prime. Obviously, we do really appreciate it. Subs with Prime are our bread and butter. I love subs with Prime because it just saves us money.
Don't say don't sub because that's when Billy Beefcake is gonna start subbing.
Yeah, no, he's not. Okay, he's not. We've banned him from doing that. It's fine. Yeah.
Give us all of Jeff Bezos' money. He doesn't need any more.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's a big push that I think is why mainly we're still on Twitch versus moving to YouTube. Is just sub with Prime.
Yeah.
Like, everyone wins, you know.
You get to support the channel.
Yeah.
Fun giveaways, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, easy mode. But anyway, thank you very much for watching, guys. We're going to leave it there before we go off on another tangent. It's already gone 9 o'clock. We're going to get out of the shop because even the gaming hall shuts in like an hour or something.
Yeah.
So,
We're kind of fine.
We will catch you all later. Thank you very much for watching. And from Alex, Marcus, and myself, we will see you at the end of May. But you might not see Marcus because he might not be here. But you'll see me and Alex. So yeah, take care, guys. Have a good one.
See you later.
Bye-bye.